every single little thing that's said. What am I reading? Hey y'all, I feel like I don't ever start my videos like this, but welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be all about reading new releases, sort of a bookish vlog. We're gonna go book shopping. I think I have a library pickup I have to pick up soon, so lots of reading, lots of bookish stuff. First off, I have Fearless here by Lauren Roberts. I already took off the dust jacket because it's just more comfortable reading it this way. Also, this book is chunky. Like, it's thicker than I thought it would be, which I do like because it's the last book in the series, so really the last taste that we're gonna get of this little universe. Although I do think Lauren Roberts said that there's going to be like another novella, which very excited for it because I really liked the last novella, Powerful. Sorry if I'm looking rough. It's like 6:30 p.m. I already put on like my comfy clothes, threw the hair up in a bun because I'm just gonna be reading. So this is what it looks like without the dust jacket on. It just says Fearless. Has this cool little like sigil symbol. Sorry if you can hear like a movie in the background. What can I say? Anyway, we're gonna start. The font is also really small, but I'm very excited for this. Like, I've been looking forward to this for a really long time since I finished the second book, I think last year, like in December. So very happy that this is now out and we're gonna read it. We'll see how long it takes me. The last book in this series took me literally 24 hours. Like, I couldn't put it down, so we'll see if this is the same. Also, I'm really hoping we get a lot more Kit in this book because he's low-key my favorite character up until this point. He is so complex and I just need more from his point of view. So we'll see. Hey y'all, welcome to the next day. We are actually right outside of Barnes, but before we go in there, I wanted to share a little bit of an update on my Fearless reading journey. I am on page 217, so I did make a little bit of a dent yesterday, and honestly, I'm thoroughly enjoying this book so far. I think the pacing is great, the characters are right where you want them to be, and there's so much happening that I do feel in a sense it's a little repetitive, but it does make sense for the plot and the overall story. And I feel like we're getting like inklings of just a plot twist that's going to end up happening towards the end of the book. So I don't really know what to expect, but I am enjoying it. I'm definitely going to keep reading it today. I feel like this is actually the chunkiest book that I was planning on reading in this video. So it would be great if I can get this out of the way because the next few books that I want to read, I'm here to buy, and they're, I think, shorter than this one. Now, that segues us into why I'm outside of Barnes right now. We're gonna do some book shopping. I am here specifically to pick up 3 books, and those 3 books are The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, that I'll hopefully be reading in this video, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, which I will also be reading in this video, and then Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which is the Hunger Games book that just came out. And I'm just now realizing that's also a new release that I could theoretically read in this video. So I guess we'll just see which videos we do actually end up reading in this video, but those are our options and those are the books that I have my eye on that I'm planning to buy today. I guess there's no further waiting. Let's go inside and see if they have the books. I don't know how we're keeping up. Like, there's just so many books that are out and about right now and like being released, and we still have Emily Henry's book to look forward to, so I'm like drowning in new releases. Not to mention this is a new release as well. So April and March have been feeding us, and I just know there's a couple books coming out in May that I also want to read, so I guess it's a good time to be a bookish girly. Let's go inside. Well, hello to my current read. Hi. Okay, as you guys saw, I already found 2 of the books that I'm planning on getting. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez and Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. So we're definitely getting these. Now I just have to find The Conditions of Will, which I don't know if that's in the fiction section, which is the section I'm currently in, or if that's going to be a romance, but I'm determined to look for it and find it without any help. I guess we'll see. Let's look for Hastings. Also a book I was highly considering getting. Still have not found The Conditions of Will. We will see if that's a book I'm going to be getting today. I'm strongly hoping so and crossing my fingers. Oh, I might see it. Let's see. I don't know if that's it though, because it looks like a hardcover. Yeah, that's not it. Nope. This is the romance section, so I figured it would be here. Maybe on a table with like the new releases, but I'm not finding it. Next, I'm gonna have to just go to the H's. Let's see. Y'all, the last copy. We did it. You're coming home with me. We did it. Okay, let's go. I just got home from Barnes & Noble and I ended up making a little bit of a pit stop at Whole Foods. So I wanted to show you guys just really quickly what I got there. Let me put these down. I love Whole Foods specifically for their hot bars, so that's basically what I got. I don't want to really pull it out and show you guys, but my fiance is actually heading home from work right now, so we're planning on just eating the food from the hot bar at Whole Foods. We got pizza and like mashed potato, chicken tenders, mac and cheese, all that good stuff. Their hot bar food is honestly premier. Like, I love it. And besides that, things I otherwise purchased were these Unreal dark chocolate coconut bars, which I really like, and they're like healthier than other brands, so they just have less sugar, but these are great for like little snacks. And then I really didn't get much. It was a quick, whoa, that's my phone. Okay, and then I got these cookies, which are the brown butter chocolate chunk cookie dough. So this is obviously cookie dough, but then you bake it, and their brown butter chocolate chip cookies specifically are so good. So if you're near Whole Foods, I would recommend these. Usually I get the ones that have like 4 cookie dough balls, so it's like bigger portions and it's like a bigger cookie. This time I went for like the smaller one, so it'll make more, but I definitely recommend these because they're so good. And it's $5.49, but you get, I don't know how many cookies are there, maybe like 12-ish or a little bit less, but they're really good. Definitely recommend. Now that I'm home, I'm just gonna wait to eat and then continue reading, because that is the point of this video. But we're gonna jump back into Fearless because I've already started it, so I'm gonna try to, I don't know if I can finish it today because I still have like a lot more left in the book, but I'm gonna keep making some damage and I'll keep you guys updated. The quickest of updates ever, but I'm actually about 60% through now, page 358, chapter 43. What am I reading? I know Lauren is not about to do what I think she's about to do. I don't know how to feel. It's funny because as I was reading, I don't know, it's weird. When I read, I usually will grab like a bunch of pages and put my bookmark here, and then I just force myself to read all the way through, and this is where I decided to stop. And I feel like this is right now the biggest cliffhanger the book has had. So now I don't know what to do, and I'm supposed to be watching Breaking Bad right now because that's what I said I was gonna do, but I feel like I can't just stop right here. Great book, but I just don't know what's gonna happen next. Hey y'all, it is the next day, I think, from the last time. Yeah, it's the next day from the last time I filmed a clip. And I finished Fearless by Lauren Roberts literally like 5 minutes ago, and I think I'm ready to share my thoughts. I ended up rating this 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed this, like thoroughly enjoyed this book, thoroughly enjoyed the series. I would recommend it. I would want it to be a movie or a TV show because I think that would be really fun. Now, with that being said, did I find some parts of it slightly repetitive? Yes. Did I find the length of this book to be adequate? Yes. I feel like the end was pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Satisfying. Like I got what I needed from it, and the characters, the romance, the plot twist, like it was all there. It did its job. I was very happy with it. I would absolutely recommend this series, especially if you're kind of new to the whole like romantasy genre, which I would say that I am. I think it's the perfect segue because it's still digestible. Like you still feel like you know what the heck is going on, but you still get those like plot twists. You still get those like magical creatures type elements. You get magical realism type of thing. You still get a romance to like cling to. So yeah, for all those reasons, I actually really liked this and I would recommend it. Like I said, I probably will share more thoughts in my like April wrap up while I get to like think about it a little bit more, but these are just my initial thoughts. And like I said, 4 stars, very solid book. You should pick it up. Now I get the privilege of picking a new read. So let me grab the 3 books that I purchased recently. Y'all, when I tell you I have no idea which book I'm gonna pick up next, I am not lying. We have really good contenders here. All 3 books I absolutely want to read. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez is actually on my April TBR, so it would make sense for me to read this. Then we have The Conditions of Will, which I talked about earlier in this video. Author of Magnolia Parks, Jessa Hastings. And then of course we have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, the most recent addition to the Hunger Games series. Now, I'm really tempted to pick up like any one of these, and I don't know, I think I'm gonna take some time to choose one, maybe start it tonight, and then I'll hit you guys up tomorrow with which book I inevitably ended up choosing and then my initial thoughts. So I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Pretty sure you guys just saw which book I ended up picking, and that is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, the newest Hunger Games book. Now I'm only 48 pages in, so about 50 pages in, and I will just say the first 10 pages you're already hooked. There's so many like little Easter eggs and little hints at what's gonna happen in the series, because obviously this takes place before the original like Hunger Games books, because those are all like Katniss's story and this is Haymitch's story. So obviously his reaping and everything takes place before that. But even with having read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, like there's still some like Easter eggs and hints and characters that you like recognize. So I really like that, because I feel like immediately just pulls you into the story, into this world. Only 50 pages in, but we're in it already. It's already an adventure. We've already gone past the reaping and it's only 50 pages. So I like have no expectations. I really don't know what to expect, but I'm very excited just to see where Haymitch's story goes. Like what's gonna happen? Because I feel like ultimately we know what happens, but what's everything in between, right? So I'm really glad I picked this up because I just read Fearless, which is kind of like a fantasy romantasy book, and this is definitely more dystopian, so I'm definitely glad it's kind of like a different genre. Still similar in the sense that it's fantasy, but this is more dystopian, teeny tiny romance subplot, if anything, maybe. This is more my pace right now, and I like that the font is so much bigger than the Fearless font. The book is smaller, shorter, so hopefully I can get this done pretty quickly, and then we'll just see. But I don't want to rush myself through these books either, just for the sake of like the video. I haven't read today. This was all last night, so about 50 pages in, that's where we're starting. I'm about to leave for work, but quick PSA, if you have any like jelly jars or pasta sauce jars laying around, that you can reuse them to make it a cute cup for your coffee. So I just made a vanilla latte, taking this with me, taking my book, and we're ready to take on the day. We're back with another update. I haven't finished the book yet. I'm on page like I'm about 200 pages in, about exactly 50% of the way through. And so far, very much enjoying the book, just like I thought I would, honestly. I've seen nothing but good things said about this book, great reviews. I've seen, I think on Goodreads, it's like over a 4.5-star rating, which is obviously phenomenal. So I have very high expectations, but I also know it's gonna hit because it's a Hunger Games book. Like how could it not, right? And so far, loving the character building, building. Hey Mitch, of course. He's so... I don't even know how to describe him. He's just one of those characters that since the beginning, since he comes out in the first movie, you just know this guy has a backstory. So we're definitely getting a lot of that still. Even halfway through, we're really learning a lot of his childhood and about like the games that he's about to be in. It's also very sad. Obviously, as a whole, the whole Hunger Games sort of series is sad, but this one specifically just carries a different tone. The whole book itself is not super happy, so just kind of know that going into it. But I am enjoying it. Am I going to finish it today? I don't know. I also feel like I don't want to rush through it, so I'm definitely kind of taking my time and absorbing every little detail because I just know it's going to come up later. It might come up in a future book. I don't know. I just feel like I need to absorb every single little thing that's said. Now, besides that, I did go to the library earlier today because I had a library pickup, and then I think I went to the library like 2 days ago, and let me just show you guys the books that I got then and today. At the public library, let's go browse. The two books that I got the other day were Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I don't know. But this one I have seen going around booktube and bookstagram specifically, and it's pretty short. I think it was a book of the month book as well, and I think it's about sort of seed bank in Antarctica, which I feel like I've always heard about that. So I think it's just really fascinating to like I have so many questions about that. It says Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica, home to the world's largest sea bank. So with sea levels rising, the Salt are now its final inhabitants of the little island. Ooh, until a woman mysteriously washes ashore. That's really all I'm gonna read. There's a bit more in the synopsis here, but I'm just gonna kind of go into it semi-blindly, knowing that it's about the world's largest sea bank. So I'm very, very interested in this. Again, it's super short too, so I just think it'll be a nice little palate cleanser. And then the other book that I got the other day as well was The Anxious Generation, which I've been wanting to read this book since it came out. I feel like when I would go to Barnes, I would see it, and just the cover is super fascinating. The title, The Anxious Generation, like that is gonna draw your attention. It's a nonfiction book. I think I put it in my reading journal as one of the nonfiction books that I do want to read this year. So here it is. Here we have it. The more I hear about it, the more I want to read it and pick it up immediately. So I think I might start this like this weekend just to, slowly start getting through it. I usually take my time with nonfiction just because they're so evidence-based, pretty scientific. It can be a lot to digest. So I definitely like taking my time with these, and I will definitely do that with this one. But I do want to start it ASAP. I know it also talks about like screen time and like iPads as little kids and how that affects like your childhood, and I don't know how old y'all are, but growing up I didn't have an iPad. Those didn't come out. I'm only 20. How old am I? 27? Yeah, I think I'm 27. So I didn't have an iPad like that little, and I just know that that is doing some numbers on your attention span or on kids' attention spans. Those are the 2 books I got the other day, and then today's pickup was This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead, which is a new release thriller mystery. I think it's on my anticipated reads for 2025. I put it on hold at my local library, and now I have it. This is a bit chunkier than a usual like typical thriller mystery. This is almost 400 pages. They're not on my TBR this month, so these are going to be more sort of mood reads when I'm in the mood. And I think it's great that they're like 3 completely different books. We have a nonfiction thriller mystery, and then this one seems more of just like a fantasy fiction sort of book. Tomorrow I also have my book club, which I'm really excited. This month we read, I'm looking over here because the book's like over there, so let me grab it. So we read Broken Country, which was a Reese's book club pick this year already, and it's like a historical fiction. It's not that long, and it was pretty good. I think I rated it 3.5 stars. This video is not about this book, so I'm not going to go too in depth. I will talk about it more in my April wrap up. I'm going to discuss it tomorrow with my friends. I have 2 friends that I do book club with, and we're going to go to like the beach, a little coffee shop. Usually we do book club meetings at my apartment, and we'll just like bring food or make food and we just hang out. But this time we're doing it like on a Saturday morning, so I'm really excited for that because it's just a little bit of a different pace, different scenery. Let's go back to Sunrise on the Reaping, which is what I'm currently reading. Let's continue this and just see what's gonna happen now, because I feel like now we're at like the cliff's edge and it's really kind of a big tipping point, and I just don't know what the heck's gonna happen next. So let's continue reading. Sunrise on the reaping is completely over. I just finished it literally like 10 minutes ago, and I think my final rating is actually going to be 3.75 stars. I feel like the only reason I'm not really giving it a 4-star is because I rated Fearless a 4-star, and I do feel like I liked that book better actually, which I don't know if that might be surprising because like I mentioned, this book is really highly rated and very much loved, and I will agree I liked it a lot, but I feel like I actually liked The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes better. Now honestly, don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that like we know the outcome of this book, right? We know where Haymitch is going to end up, what's gonna happen, so we really are just kind of learning the intricacies of his personal Hunger Games. I still recommend it, especially if you love the Hunger Games like series, if you watch the movies, if you're at least a little bit interested in Haymitch's story, absolutely recommend. So that's all I'm gonna really say about this for now. Now moving on, I think I'm gonna dive into the conditions of will. Now earlier in this video, I have this one in Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez that I could choose from, and I just feel like I'm more in the mood for this one that I'm in for Say You'll Remember Me, although I still will be reading that book this month. I think maybe just while I'm on my trip that I'm going on next week. I think I'm going to take Say You'll Remember Me then, and I do still plan on reading it this month, especially because it is on my monthly TBR and I do want to read that book. I just am not going to be able to squeeze it into this video, but it should still be in my wrap up if I get through it. This is the next one I'm going to dive into, so we're going to start that literally right now. I do want to say this morning I went to the beach to meet up with some of my friends to discuss our book club book Broken Country, which I was talking about earlier in this video. It was such a nice little vibe. We were just got coffee, we got a cinnamon roll and some pastries, and we just discussed our book, and we ended up choosing our next book as well, which is actually going to come to a surprise to many of you, I feel, because it's definitely a book that's out of my comfort zone, and that is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I'm so terrified and intimidated 1000% by this book, but it's a book that I've seen a lot of people talk about for a long time. I know it's highly rated. It is part of his series, and I have read R.F. Kuang's work before. I feel like it's time. It was actually my turn to pick. Well, it wasn't my turn to pick. My book got chosen. We do kind of like a blind process of elimination type of vibe, and my book ended up being the one that was picked, and it was The Poppy War. So I'm very scared, but I guess I'm gonna be reading that book now, and I do want to read the series, so I guess we'll see. It's like a high fantasy sort of Chinese military history type of, I have no idea. That's kind of just the brief vibe that I got from reading like the little synopsis on Goodreads. But anyway, I just wanted to briefly mention that just to kind of catch you guys up on all my reading things. But you know what, for now, let's go into the conditions of will. Also, this cover is to die for. I absolutely love it, and the feathered edges. This book could not be more perfect. Let's get started. It also smells so good. I love the smell of a new book. Gears, and now we are doing a puzzle. It's actually a friend's puzzle that I have right here. I got it like a couple years ago, and I've just had it like stored away, but I realized this is a nice little hobby I could get into. To update you guys on the conditions of will, I'm only 50 pages in, but I feel like I'm now getting the gist of it because I really kind of went into it blindly and had no idea what it's about. But essentially it's about a girl named Georgia, and she lives in London, but her family's from South Carolina in the US, which is so interesting because Jessa Hastings does a lot of just sort of comparing and contrasting like London and the US, and it's so interesting, and I like that she's doing that actually. But we're barely now getting tidbits of a romance, which I kind of expected because this was obviously in the romance section. But again, I have no idea who it's gonna be with, like what it's gonna entail. But I really like kind of the story that we're building already. We're learning a lot about Georgia, her family. She ends up going back to South Carolina, even though she lives in London, because something happened within her family. So she decides to go back. And now we're really kind of seeing the family dynamics. Very interesting because her and her family aren't the closest. I'll just leave it at that. So that's kind of all I have right now, being 50 pages in, but I decided to kind of switch gears and work on this puzzle a bit, and then we'll probably go back to reading sometime tonight. But for now, we're doing a puzzle. But I think I'm gonna end up having to put this on a different table because it literally doesn't fit. It's time for another update. I'm now a little bit, I think I'm exactly 50% of the way through the book. Also, it is the next day, still wearing the same clothes because why not? Anyway, I'm really liking this. It's definitely a sad book, which I feel like I didn't know that going into it because I definitely went into it pretty blindly, but I do really like kind of everything that's being discussed in here. I think it's a very important story to tell. It carries a very different tone than like Magnolia Parks, but while reading, I've discovered that this definitely takes place in the Magnolia Parks universe, which is really interesting, and I love that because we do get like the smallest little inkling tidbit of information that you're just like, ooh, caught it. So that's really nice. Other than that, it's a story being told over a couple of days so far, and each day it just sounds very mundane, but when you get to the meat of what's actually happening, you realize there's actually a lot going on, a lot of processing, a lot of family dynamics that we're kind of swimming through, whilst also maybe attempting at a little bit of a romance. So I do feel like I hear Magnolia's voice through this, and I think that's mostly due to Jessa Hastings' writing. But so far it has definitely made me emotional a few times. Let's just continue because I definitely want to finish this ASAP and give you guys my final review. Good morning, y'all. I'm actually on the epilogue now for The Conditions of Will, so I'm going to quickly read this, finish it up, and then I will give you guys my final thoughts. So I really enjoyed this book. I don't think it's a 5-star, but I don't know, I feel conflicted because my favorite character in this book was Georgia, who's the main character, and then everybody else, some I really despised and just could not stand. In some other ones, I noticed some great character development. And then in terms of plot, this really only takes place over a couple of days, and there is a lot going on. Well, not really. It's more a lot going on with each character and their own personal problems, issues, even family dynamics that they're trying to get through, especially Georgia herself. She undergoes a lot in this book, and so do her siblings. So I really don't know. If you do want a recommendation for a book that's high in family toxicity, chaotic family, and just not so much healthy boundaries, then maybe pick this book up. But like I mentioned, I do really love our character Georgia. I feel like I like her more. I don't want to compare, but I like her more than Magnolia. Daisy's still my favorite, so I feel like Georgia she climbed the ranks. I feel like I'm gonna give this a 4-star, like a solid 4. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it. I had a great time reading it. I read it in like a day, so it's a pretty quick read, even though like I mentioned, there's not so much happening plot-wise, but there is. And it's in those small like mundane life things that it really reflects. The romance itself too kind of took a backseat for me. That's not really what I focused on. I don't know if that was the point of the book, but I really was focusing more on our main character and then her relationships with her different family members. And then I was like, oh, there's also romance, but I feel like the romance was not the spotlight of this book. So 4 stars. I want to give you guys an update on my puzzle. Very random, but this is where we're at. We're doing really good. I haven't done a puzzle in years, so this has been really fun. Now I think I just need to find like a good audiobook and I will finish that puzzle. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of these reads, and if you guys have read these books, let me know how you thought or what your thoughts were. So that's it. Bye.